nothing to do with it.
So, if I tell you no, you can't go somewhere, you gonna
go? Today,
yeah.
Bye, man. I'm gone. Whatever. I'll see you when I get back.
And I'm going with you.
See, and that's the problem. That's the problem. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're gonna tag along. I don't even ask no more. Do you want to go? Because I just be like, I'm going here. I'm about to get dressed. So, without further ado, let's get started. My name is Antonio.
My name is Brianna.
And we are
the
Levisons. And today we are here to really dig into mental health and finish the 2-part series that we started 2 weeks ago. So let's just jump right into it. So we're gonna jump into my mental health and how I've been throughout our relationship, and more. So when we first got together, I was carrying a lot of pain that I didn't know that I was carrying. And a lot of it was from the loss of my father. And I didn't realize that a lot of that pain that I was carrying was bleeding over into other relationships that I was having.
Yeah.
And one of the main relationships it was bleeding over into was me and her relationship. Because I would, whenever I got into my emotions or whenever I got into a sense of, maybe fight or flight or, anger or, pain, I did it in ways that in times shouldn't and couldn't be forgiven.
Correct. Say it again.
I did it in ways that shouldn't and couldn't be forgiven at times. And later on in life, I really honestly realized how ineffective that was, in a relationship. But it wouldn't have hit me and it wouldn't have dawned on me, if one, I wouldn't have been open and receptive to change.
Correct.
And opening my eyes. And two, if our kids were not as much as a focal point. Because one thing that I always told myself was I was always going to keep my family together because of my children. And, I didn't want to cause, her pain. Not only because I love her from the bottom of my heart. She's my childhood sweetheart, well, my high school sweetheart. You can say childhood because you pretty much a kid. You're pretty much a kid in high school.
I've grown.
But she's my sweetheart, and I didn't want to be in that position where we were sharing custody with our kids, and I get them on the weekends, you get them Monday through Thursday, and every other weekend, I get Father's Day, you get Christmas, and all that stuff.
Right.
I didn't want to do that. So I had to make a decision to grow up. And once I made a decision to grow up, I honestly, I went through the toughest mental transformation that I feel like anybody could go through. It was so many things going on in my body. I had to go and find the pain, to find the source of the pain. And I dug deep, and I came to terms that a lot of it was from my father passing away. A lot of it was from just things that I had experienced in my lifetime, and I was using it counterproductively. I started searching for answers through the religion that I grew up on. I started searching for answers through the music I grew up on. I started searching for answers through just trying to financially grow myself, and I had to come to terms with it wasn't none of those problems. I was the problem, while my mentality was so farce. I was the problem to whatever problems that we were having in our relationship, because I was so afraid to look in the mirror and tell myself, you're wrong. I was so afraid to look in the mirror and tell myself, you have to grow up. You have to become something more, not for you, but for the sake of your family. You have to become a man.
A better you.
I had to become a better me. And ever since that day, or that period, it wasn't a particular day, but ever since that period, I really prided myself, and I've really, tried to become a man amongst men. I try to, when I'm in a crowd of my peers, I mean men, when I'm in a crowd of my peers, I'm really working to make sure I am the cream of the crop, and I'm completely well-rounded. I can hold a conversation with everybody, and that is what really helped me, because once I began to realize that, one, I wasn't the shit that I thought I was, and two, I didn't know everything that I needed to know to be healthier. That's when I began to blossom into a better me. Right. That's when I really began my journey mentally on, spirituality, not religion. I don't focus on religion. I focus on my spirituality, my relationship with God, my relationship with the universe. I began to, that led me into, focusing on, bettering myself through skills and trades. So, I just told her this yesterday, that my goal for the next decade of my life, from 30 to 40, my goal is to get 5 skills and master them.
Which we're talking about one particular skill you need to add back to the list.
We're not doing that. We're not going to do it today. But that all plays a part in your mental advancement. You really have to dig deep. Sometimes it's just not always emotional when it comes to your mental stability. Sometimes if you can hone in on a craft and really dig deep in a craft to occupy your time. And not only occupy your time, occupy your mind, so your mind is clear. You're focused for an allotted amount of time on becoming as best as you can in that craft. Once you come out of that craft and you've accomplished, things that you didn't even know that you can accomplish within that craft, within that art form, then you begin to look at yourself and say, well, if I can do this over here and obtain this skill set, is something that I wasn't too proficient in maybe a year ago, what would happen if I start to adjust this? What would happen to my mindset if I became, better here? And over time, you begin to develop into a better person. And in that better person becomes a better you all around. Most importantly, mentally. You become a stronger mental person. And that's what happened for me. I began to seek and search on how to become better by finding the things I was weak at and starting to fine tune them. And in that search, I became a better husband. I became a better father. I became a better friend, because I went on a journey to repair my mentality.
So what mental illness do you think you suffered from?
I'm pretty sure it was a point in time where I was depressed. I'm sure. And I honestly, I can't pinpoint a time frame, because I might have been depressed for longer than I thought I was.
Right.
I could have hit a series of depression in my teenage years and not know I was depressed. I have a tattoo on my arm that says, I struggle through my happiness so I can laugh through my pain. And I got that tattoo when I was, 22, 23 years old. And that's just how I felt at the time. I was always smiling, but I was always in pain. And I would smile because I didn't want nobody to know my business.
Right.
But behind closed doors, I was hurting on a level that I couldn't even interpretate to her. And then,
so how did you deal with your hurt? Like, would you say that you just completely just shut down and you just had an attitude, or?
I would do that. I definitely did go into a cocoon at times. I definitely did shut down and just hold my feelings in, because the man inside of me told me to figure this out on my own. You don't need nobody else. After that didn't work for a lot of amount of time.
How long would you say that didn't work?
The whole time I was trying to do it.
like
From
you
day one.
You shut down a lot. So how many years did it take for you
I
to
think
realize that did not work?
I think I figured it out and stopped doing it around 2015, 16.
When I was married up.
We had been married for about 5-6 years. I really started breaking down, and I really started opening up more, and I stopped holding in my anger and holding in my pain, and started to really reflect and try to figure out where I wanted to be.
And what triggered you to feel like you needed to start opening up? Like, one day did you just wake up and say, "Oh my God," like?
No, like I said, I realized that I wasn't as perfect as I thought I was.
Right, but like,
and I
most people, it's a cause and effect.
I started asking. That was the first way I started opening up. I started asking questions, asking her questions about the things that I did and what made her feel uncomfortable. I started saying, when I do this, how do you feel? Or if I were to do this, how would you feel? Or when we had this fight, such and such, when I said this, or when you said this to me, it rattled me, or it may have rattled you, and and I began to put different pieces together to try to transform my mindset. I also started talking to God a lot more. You can say praying. I honestly believe that a prayer is a conversation. It's simply what that is. A prayer is a conversation. I talk to God all day long. Like, he my homeboy standing right next to me. I ask him questions. I ask him for guidance. I ask him for wisdom. I thank him. I give him gratitude. And I think that was one of the key building blocks, and really in helping me shape and mold my mind. That was really digging into my spirituality. Where do I get my strength from?
Okay.
I had to dig deep and find a way to get my strength. Go ahead. I'll say the next one. Go ahead.
So, do you think with that comes into a piece where it was communication, when you used to just shut down and didn't talk about it, do you think our relationship would be where it is now if we continued that? Do you think we would have lasted?
We might have forced ourselves to stay together simply because we know that's the right thing to do, but we wouldn't be as happy as we are today.
Because
Shut up. We wouldn't be as happy as we are today. We wouldn't have the love that we have today. And I don't think that we would have developed the friendships that we have, because a lot of our friendships are based off of how we love each other.
I mean, you could say that, but
Here you go. A lot of the friendships that we have is wholeheartedly based off of how we treat and love each other. Because the way that we treat each other is a magnet to not only other couples but other single people. And I think that plays a role in how our journeys, how we've come so far mentally. Because before, we would get around people and we wouldn't try to help them through their problem situations. We just sit back.
Facts, money. Facts.
We'd sit here.
Facts.
Be a good friend. What that mean?
No, keep going. Just keep going.
Don't be doing no secret stuff on my show, Monica.
Keep going.
I don't even remember what I was saying. I just wanted to be better. That's what it all comes down to. Another form, another skill set that I picked up and decided to begin to develop that occupied my mind and my time was the gym. when I started reconstructing my mind, I needed something productive, and lifting weights really challenged me.
Yeah.
It was a challenge.
It's a way to relieve stress.
It was a way to relieve stress, but if you remember, me and Jermaine would go to the gym at 5:00 in the morning. Then we'd go back to the gym at lunch. Then we go back to the gym at the end of the day. And that struggle to continuously be disciplined and go to the gym every single day, I think it gave me a power of perseverance, because I began to see myself in a way that I don't have to be the best all the time. I just have to make sure that I'm always competing, not with the person in front of me, but I have to always be competing with myself.
Correct.
If I went into the gym, if I came in the gym last week and we did a workout and we do the same workout this week, I have to be better than I was last week.
All right.
And that, in that sense, I think that pushed my mindset forward, because I was always looking. When I began to look within myself, I began to look for areas of improvement. Okay. Now I'm focusing on, becoming more disciplined of a person, and becoming more of an organized person. That's the next step and phase in my process. Becoming more organized and becoming more disciplined. But that takes a heavy mentality, because, like I said before in this previous show, becoming disciplined is probably the hardest thing that anybody can do in their life, because you have to do it repeatedly if you want to be successful when it comes to discipline. And that discipline has to carry over into training your mind. Yeah. Because you have to be disciplined on affirmations. You have to be disciplined on when and where you gonna make sure you grow your mindset. You have to be disciplined on going to your therapist when you're supposed to. You have to be disciplined on if you have a problem with alcohol and drugs or stuff like that. You have to be disciplined on calling your sponsor and telling them that you need help. You have to be disciplined on these things in order to get your mentality, praying and talking to God every single day, counting to 10 or something like that whenever you feel yourself getting ready to break down and you reaching the edge. You have to become, that takes a discipline that a lot of people aren't willing to endure, because the discipline is so painful.
Correct.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, but it's also about a process. A lot of people want to be disciplined in so many things, and they try to do it all at once. Right. And that's just not how the brain works. You can focus on one or two things at a time, but you have to know your pace, and you have to be be realistic and stuff like that. But going back to mental health within a relationship, how important is it for your spouse to know when you're struggling with mental health, instead of just dealing with it on your own? One of the big things that you said was that you started to communicate with me about that you asking me questions and stuff like that. Why is it important, and why is it, and how did you deal with it? How did the communication with me change your mental?
It's the most important, and here's why. Without a support system, you won't be able to be successful. Who's the closest person to you if you're married? Your spouse. So who should be the closest person to you if you're married? Your spouse. So if your spouse is supposed to be the closest person to you, that should be the person that knows you the most. That's able to tell you you're not going in the right direction of your recovery process. Your spouse should be able to tell you when you wrong, and even if you don't like it to your core, you should be able to say, God damn it, you're right. Now I still struggle with that. Now that's what I'm about to say. I still struggle with eating my own words. I still struggle with just holding my tongue and saying, no, I still struggle with that. But
We still struggle with
Yeah,
that.
we still struggle with that. But I can speak for me. I've gotten a lot better. And just saying, all right, babe, you got it. I think I've gotten a lot better in just being able to let you guide me and not let you guide me and not,
guide. I thought you said got. I was about to say let you guide me.
let you guide me into a better situation other than fighting you on everything. And I honestly believe it's because I was able to find myself a more powerful mindset by giving up my power, if that makes sense to anybody. I think my mindset became stronger when I gave up power and control of everything.
Just like a woman is supposed to submit to her husband, her husband has to submit to her. So it's a 50-50 thing.
It's very true.
You know? A lot of people are so against, I didn't submit to my husband. Oh, okay. That's fine. That's how your relationship goes, whatever. But what works for us is what works for us.
Exactly.
And I submit to him on certain things and he vice versa. So I think it's all about trust and balance and knowing each other and learning from each other. When it came to our mental health, it was a struggle to get to where we are now. And I say that because we are two very strong people. And most strong people, when they're together, they usually clash at some point.
Yes.
If they don't clash, I don't know. But usually a lot of people clash when it's two strong individuals in a relationship.
Yeah, if two people are in a relationship and they say they don't clash, they're not in a real relationship.
Well, that's our opinion, but anywho.
And that's kind of factual.
So,
like physical therapy, like trained doctors have said that.
Okay. But it was important for both of us to be able to confide in one another about our weaknesses, because again, we are very, very strong people and we can't be weak. Like Brianna, Tony, like at what aspect? So it allowed us to be vulnerable with one another, and it made us very humble. It really changed our relationship drastically once we were very honest about the things that we were struggling with. Regardless if it was anxiety, if it was depression, or if it was just stress or financial things. So like just different things, by being open, communicating and talking about it, that is what I feel has drastically helped our relationship. And it was giving each other advice, not only listening and hearing, which is great when you're in a relationship. Sometimes everything doesn't deserve or need a response. Your spouse, and that goes on any relationship. Sometimes they just need a shoulder, just to listen, or ear to listen to. But when it comes to mental health, it's okay a lot of the time to give the advice how you would deal with it. Or, you just have a different lens, or give that, okay, let's try therapy. Oh, you need to go see your doctor, or, let's try the medication. If it doesn't work, then we'll go somewhere else. And, maybe weed is the best route, or, how to deal with different things. So I think that is what helped us in our relationship, by being able to communicate and then us feeding off each other.
Yeah, I think when we found out what our weaknesses was, we really pulled away from the whole dictating to each other what we wanted each other to do, part of a relationship. When we both sat back and said, man, like, that's what she likes or that's what he likes, I can't tell him or her, you can't do this.
Right.
It's forbidden. Because at the end of the day, we all got to remember, we're grown-ups.
I don't care about you being no grown-up.
We're grown-ups.
I don't care about you being no grown-up.
And the grown-up thing for you to do is to realize that your partner is also a grown-up.
I don't care about that. I don't care about that.
You gonna care today.
I don't care about that.
Today you gonna care. You gonna care on this show. Today. Anyways. But
grown up.
Yeah, grown up. But yeah, I think that's really important also. And not trying to tell your spouse what they can and cannot do. Because that's going to do one of two things. It's going to cause a reaction that's going to be more drastic than it would have been. Two, or it's going to say, or it's going to have that spouse in a state of regret, which will, in some
trigger you to do it just to
or it's
rebel,
or it's going to trigger another response in another area. It's going to make them lash out in another way with something that has absolutely nothing to do with it.
So, if I tell you no, you can't go somewhere, you gonna
go? Today,
yeah.
Bye, man. I'm gone. Whatever. I'll see you when I get back.
And I'm going with you.
See, and that's the problem. That's the problem. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're gonna tag along. I don't even ask no more. Do you want to go? Because I just be like, I'm going here. I'm about to get dressed. How can one take our advice and become stronger mentally? Like, if someone's really trying to improve upon themselves mentally, how can one take our advice and apply to it? Like, lay out some steps that somebody, step 1, 2, 3, or A, B, C, D, that people can take from these past 2 episodes and take from our bag of tricks, if I may call it, and apply it to their own lives and begin to prepare themselves.
Admitting to yourself your problem, your issue, your concern. Because you never want to go into a conversation with your spouse, because step 2 is having that conversation with your spouse. So you never want, just drink this and just drink that one. You never want to go into a conversation with your spouse and not really have factual information. Like, you're just assuming, things. So step 1 for me, I would say definitely admitting the mental problem, the mental issue, and try to start coming to terms with it. So once you admit it, now you figure out, okay, what is the actionable plan for step 2? Like, how can I cure myself, or how can I get better, or how can I be more manageable? How can I make sure I can live with this problem?
So what's step 2?
Step 2 is then having this real life conversation with your spouse. Going to him like, I really think I'm depressed. I'm not in a good space. And then the spouse will be like, okay, what happened? Like, again, I'm a very actionable person. So I'm like, what happened? How long has this been going on? What can I do to help first? Because you want to be that support. So what can I do to help? They say, I don't know. Okay, we're going to do this together. We're going to figure it out together. So step 3 would be, to follow up on find the actionable things from that conversation. So 1, let's go to the doctor first, or let's pray about it. Let's meditate. Affirmations.
People really go away from the prayer or spirituality part of something because they don't want to seem churchy, and which is really understandable. But I believe sometimes we need a higher form of clearance to push past mental blocks. We need like a reassurance that it's something out there in the in the force continuum. Did I use that right? Audience, did I use that right? The force continuum.
Come on,
that's pulling us along and giving us the strength that we're like strongly looking for. That's why I think spirituality is extremely important. Not religion, spirituality is extremely important in the growth of your mindset.
Yeah. So again, if that's the path that you want to take it. Definitely consult your doctor. You don't have to agree with their plan, but just hear them out. Just listen, and they'll give you multiple options. And they can't force you to do anything that you don't want to do. So again, they're going to give you multiple things for advice. Therapy works for a lot of people. Therapy don't work for a lot of people. Somebody went to therapy one time and ain't been to therapy since. Well, I don't like to talk about my stuff to nobody else that don't know me and da-da-da. So his therapy.
I'm grown.
He went. Look, he went to it. It wasn't for him. So now I'm his therapist and he's my therapist. So.
And I didn't even need a college education.
No, and look. You need to pay for your sessions. You behind.
Oh, I'm paying for
No. No, you need to pay for your session.
Oh, I'm paying in full.
You need to pay for your session.
I'm paying in full.
So
I got a payment that's coming up due real soon.
That's those are my steps. What are your steps?
Wait, hold on.
Agree.
I believe so. Your first step was admit that you need help.
No, admit your
admit your faults.
Your issue.
Get an actionable plan.
Nope. 2 is talking to your spouse.
Okay, admit that we have faults. Talking to our spouse, which is 2. 3 is the action plan. Yeah. What I would say is add a 4th. And the 4th step in that reconstruction is always going back to make sure we're moving forward in the plan. So if, let's say, all right, let's just use our own lives, for the sake of, giving an example. Yeah. When I was struggling, I realized that I wasn't well. I realized I wasn't well. That was me realizing my faults, realizing that I needed to grow, realizing that I needed to do whatever I had to do. I realized that I had to come to you to get my help because I didn't see myself getting it from nowhere else. So I came to you for
that trust.
Yeah, I came to you for the help. Once you gave me guidelines or gave me a guide on where I should go, we put the steps in place and we followed the steps, and I began to get better. The last step is the maintenance. You asking me from time to time, are you okay? Where are you mentally? Is there anything that we need to improve upon today so you can have it better tomorrow? Yeah. How are you feeling? What is it that you should be doing that you're not doing if you're not in the proper mental place that you're supposed to be? I think that 4th step is the maintenance. Yeah. You always have to be working like it's like a car. You can buy a brand new car, but in 90 days you're going to need an oil change. In 2 years, a year and a half, you're going to need new tires. That's the maintenance of your mental state. You can go get to therapy and stuff like that, but once you stop seeing your therapist, you may run into something that encourages you to slip back into that bad routine that you were in. So you need to do the proper maintenance. Yeah. Call your sponsor, do your prayer and spirituality development. Call out to a support system, create a support system or a strong circle of people that's not afraid. You don't want a bunch of yes people around you. Get a core group of people that is not afraid to say, you're not well. Yeah. You need help. What should I do to propel you forward? Yeah. I think that's the last piece.
Okay.
And if you can get through all of those steps, you can honestly reconstruct your mindset.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you guys, when you reconstruct your mindset, it's a better life. When you are truthful with the state of your mind, whether you're in a relationship or not, and you begin to, honestly, a week after you start your process, you will start to feel a lot better because you will start doing things different.
And you're working on yourself.
And you're feeling yourself get better. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and getting a different result. So if you know that you're an alcoholic and you need to get better, you can't keep drinking alcohol. Just saying I'm gonna drink a little bit less is not gonna cause the problem, because at some point in time it's gonna trigger a response and you're gonna begin to drink it more than you were.
Yeah.
You have to take away that urge. You have to take away that trigger that's gonna make you fall back into a bad state, a bad mental state.
Yeah. So my biggest advice is to not try to, if you are in a bad mental place, realize that you should not do it alone. You should not go through it alone. You
take
have
the pride out of it. Take the pride out of it.
You have to talk to somebody, your spouse, your friend. Like, talk to somebody. Most of the time, just talking it out. And, like, once you verbally say all the things that has bothered you or that's going on, you realize, like, either it was, like, it happened not because you did something, it wasn't your fault, or you can be like, oh, that was absolutely dumb of me to do that, and I did that, and that's what caused this. So, like, you can talk it out and move to the next step. But also remember that being in a bad place does not mean you're a bad person.
Say that again, baby. Say that again, Pookie. Say it again, Pookie. What you say? Say it again, Pookie Poo. What'd that say? I like that one.
Come on, say it then. Yeah.
Just because you're in a bad place doesn't mean you're a bad person.
There you go. And you can...
with an asterisk, if you're doing bad things and you keep doing bad things and you know you're doing bad things, you could be a bad person.
Oh my God.
I'm not talking about
I get you.
I'm talking about like unforgivable, weird stuff.
Okay, I get it.
You could be a bad person. All right. That's just the asterisk that I have put in there.
So, know that you are not less of a person because you have
a problem.
You have a mental issue. You're not less of a person. You've just been through some things, or you've seen some things.
Oh, I got a bit. Go ahead. I got a bit.
You didn't like my train.
I had a bit of advice.
Go.
Well, one bit of advice that I do have that worked for me, because even though I shouldn't have been doing it, I did it. Stop comparing yourself to people. Stop looking at other people on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and saying, cute. We went to high school together and they're here, but I'm here.
Correct.
We're in the social media time. People put out fake stuff all the time. Simply because they want everyone to see that they're living a perfect or great or an advanced lifestyle. But you don't know what's going on behind that camera. You understand what I'm saying? Me and Brianna looked good on the surface for a while, but I
was gonna kill him dead.
We were struggling so hard on the surface. We were hurting with each other on the surface, but people will always tell us, "Oh, you guys are amazing." Is that a third? And then for a long time, because we were struggling with each other and we knew the truth.
Hey, Kate.
What's up, Kate? Because we knew the truth with each other, we would look at each other like, why do people see us in this light?
Right, because he got on my last nerves and he had one more nerve to get on.
And she was getting on my nerves too. And
I ain't do nothing wrong to you.
My challenge, I don't like the word. I hate challenges. I can't stand it. My My task. I like to ask. I like to do the task thing. My task to everybody that's watching us, that's going to see this in the future. My task is this, okay? Mm-hmm. Shut down anything that is not positive an hour, 30 minutes to an hour before you go to sleep. Mm-hmm. And don't open anything that's not positive before 30 minutes after you wake up in the morning. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about work emails. Yes, I'm talking about it all. If it does not carry a positive influence on your mental, this is what I made her do. That's why she laughing. If it does not help you improve your mentality, do not do it, because your mind, I've done a lot of, as you guys can see, I've done a lot of, time and research on how the mind works and how, you can manifest things like that. If your mind is working in a negative way before you go to sleep and right when you wake up, you're going to always have bad days. You're going to always be a negative person. People ask me why
you made us stop watching that one show every night.
I made us stop. I honestly made us stop watching negative TV at nighttime. Like, now we listen to guided meditations while we're going to sleep. And at 2 o'clock in the morning, I turn them off. Because that's when I probably wake up and I just don't go back to sleep. But we listen to guided meditations.
What was we watching? Was it See It? No.
You had us watching Criminal Minds before we went to sleep. And then you reverted. Then you reversed it. And then we started watching Love and Hip-Hop before we went to sleep. You was waking up with an attitude, and you didn't realize what it was. And I told you.
No, not me. That was you. The Criminal Minds. Criminal Minds
was me. Criminal Minds was definitely me. I had to get that.
Queen of the South.
Oh yeah, Queen of the South. I was waking up as a drug dealer. I was using machetes on everybody in my dream.
Oh my god!
Watching Queen of the South right before bedtime. Mm. But we had what you have to do is this is the thing that I'm doing with myself as far as growing my discipline. You have to do the things that's uncomfortable.
Yes.
To get to the place of comfort. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So what do I mean by that? If you want to lose weight, stop eating sugary foods. That's the place of uncomfort to get to comfortable. Mm-hmm. It's that simple, but it's hard. Right. Like me personally, I've been talking about giving up alcohol for how long? 3 years now? 4 years now? Mm-hmm. It's taken me 3 to 4 years to finally get to a point to say I don't want to drink no more. Mm-hmm. I don't care to drink anymore. Only time I drink is when I'm socializing now, because social drinking is a lot more fun than me just taking the fifth of Jack Daniels to the head on a Tuesday by myself.
And for real, the reason why he stopped is because his body was not. Tony's body
and my body told me that
it's going to answer,
drinking wasn't for me anymore.
It's going to answer all his problems. His body will literally. His body, Tony's body is something like you see in history, like the books and stuff. It literally, he said something about what he wants to do or if he wants to stop,
and my body begins to react.
Instantly.
My body, I said
no, not instantly. Over 6 months, it's giving him all the signs, but he's not listening to it.
And it, like I said,
hard head makes it soft.
I said I wanted to start drinking, so of course, I'm a nigga, an N-word. Sorry, YouTube, don't censor this video, YouTube. So we used to drink Hennessy a lot. We used to drink Hennessy a lot of Hennessy. Mm-hmm. I told myself I wanted to start drinking. Literally, wanted to stop drinking. Literally overnight, I couldn't tolerate Hennessy anymore. Mm-hmm. It happened within like a matter of a week. Mm-hmm. I switched to different alcohols and my body just wouldn't tolerate it. So I started to cut alcohol. That's honestly what you have to do to repair your mentality. You have to tell yourself, I want to be better. And you constantly have to tell yourself, when I pray to God, I ask God, make me a better human being today than I was yesterday. If I was lazy yesterday, make me more productive. Mm-hmm. If I was weak in my workouts yesterday, make me stronger. Mm-hmm. If I didn't handle situations
more direct with your praise.
Exactly. If I wasn't a good husband yesterday, make me a better one today. Mm-hmm. If my driving sucked yesterday, make me a better driver today. Mm-hmm. Like I when I talk to God, I asked to be better in the things that I wasn't so good at the day before. Mm-hmm. And I realized that taking the day by day approach is better than trying to become good all at one time. I almost hit you.
Yeah, I felt
I
felt the weird.
Like in comparison, and we got to get ready to go because it's 8:00. Mm-hmm. In comparison to what I'm trying to say, just think about LeBron James. Mm-hmm. This is a perfect example. When LeBron James came in the league, what couldn't he do? Shoot. He couldn't shoot mid-range jump shots. LeBron James didn't all of a sudden one season become the best mid-range jump shooter. Over time, LeBron James worked on his craft. He worked on his jump shooting. He would go to the gym, shoot 200-300 mid-range jump shots a day. Now LeBron James can pull up anywhere on the floor and make a jump shot. That's what you have to do in your life. Practice.
Discipline.
Discipline and practice. I have a saying that I say to my players on the football field. Practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. You can practice all you want to, but you may be practicing wrong. When you develop perfect practice, you will become the better person that you're looking for. No one's going to be perfect because the person that we are, we're going to make mistakes. Because that's what we're supposed to do as human beings. We're supposed to make mistakes. But if you just practice and you practice in the wrong way of doing something, you're going to continuously be wrong. Perfect practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice make perfect. That's what I want you guys to take if you're trying to develop a better mindset in life. If you're trying to be a better person. If you're trying to grow your mental strength. And if you're trying to come out of a situation where you are depressed, where you are stressed, where you are depressed, where you are stressed, where you are dealing with a sense of uncertainty or a self-esteem issue, or what other mental issues, where you are, whatever it is that you're dealing with mentally, you have to practice the right way of becoming mentally stronger and not practice the wrong way, because the wrong way will continue to push you down the path of whatever it is you're going through. Mm-hmm. Like I said before, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So my advice to everyone that's watching, that's trying to get better mentally, is to do something different. Do something different. If you go to sleep at night watching,
do something different. That's all you gotta say.
I need to give examples to the people.
Oh my God.
Just do something different. Do something better, different.
Better, different.
Yeah, because somebody can say do something different. That means you do something more stupid, just in a different way. Do something better, different. If that makes sense.
So, this week we are going to shout out somebody that's very close to us. He's like a brother, very near and dear to our heart. It's Adam's Auto Body Shop, I believe is the name.
Adam's Auto Body. Mm-hmm.
Here in Maryland.
He is located in Glen Burnie.
Yeah.
Off Ritchie Highway, at the top of Ritchie Highway, in the Glen. Yeah, I said Glen Burnie. At the top of Ritchie Highway in Glen Burnie. Go ahead, babe. You got the rest of it.
If everybody knows him as Rocky. If you need any type of auto detailing on your cars, he is definitely the person to look at, to reach out to.
His paint jobs are impeccable. You can go to his Facebook page, Roland Adams.
Yeah.
Can he get
my car?
Just
keep going.
You just gotta bring it to him, man. He'll do it. He'll do it. You just gotta bring it to him.
And then we always shout out all of our businesses. Definitely Courtney Crafts. She definitely has this brand that's growing. It's called My Grind
Different is.
How you gonna say I got it? You gonna keep on jumping in?
Man, I just had to get that out of there.
My Grind Different.
I'm gonna practice on my discipline of being quiet.
Yes, amen. Courtney Crafts. She makes all of our custom shirts, everything that you see that we wear that's custom. She is the person. We also going to shout out our friend Devin. She has a blog. She's not your average mom. She has merchandise.
Merch.
Discipline. You are failing.
We all.
That's definitely. And then of course we're shouting out our baby brother Andre, with his photography, Lev Lens. So definitely, if you need any type of pictures and stuff like that, he is definitely or videos. He's the person to go to. And then last but not least, we are shouting out H.O.P.E Fitness. Antonio's.
I wonder who owns H.O.P.E Fitness. He must be a stand-up guy.
It's for youth athletes. If you're trying to build your performance, we definitely specialize in football. But if you need any other help with
pretty much all field sports, I'm helping you. I'm helping.
Speed. I don't need you to help. No, you said you were going to be quiet. Speed and agility. We will be having a camp very similar to like a boot camp coming very soon. Yes, it's in the process. It's business plans is working out. So if you definitely want your kids in some type of fitness boot camp, very close to boot camp, before our fall season starts, then we are definitely the place to be. Those dates will be coming out soon. Again, we want to thank you all for joining us.
You missing the business.
Who?
You missing the business.
Who?
You don't want me to
think. Terry Moss
brother.
Down in Jacksonville.
Terry Moss the most.
He has a video game truck. He is definitely booked for like the next month and a half or 2 months. So definitely,
decade.
If you need it, definitely book it as soon as possible. He comes to you. He has all the games that you can think of. We want to thank you for joining us on this lovely Sunday. We will be doing this every Sunday at 7. My name is Brianna.
My name is Antonio.
And we are the Levisons.
The Levisons. Thank you. Subscribe, like, share, comment.
It'll be posted on YouTube by Tuesday.
And
quote it.
Tuesday at 2:30 p.m.
And quote it. And if it's not there, Tony owe y'all $1 on Cash App.
That's dumb.
Go ahead.
We love y'all. Thank y'all.
Bye.
Have a good one. See y'all next week.